everyone, I'm Rachel from PencilStash. Thank you so much for joining me again this week. We'll get started on the video demonstration here in a moment, but I just wanted to share some exciting news with you. I got some new colored pencils. I purchased the Faber-Castell Polychromos set of 60. I'm very excited to share with you the fact that I love these. I've traditionally used the Prismacolor pencils, and those are fantastic as well, but I was very, very happy with the results that I was able to get. Very, very smooth blending, lots and lots of color choices. These are great, great pencils. So the page we're going to be doing today during the demonstration is from Joyous Blooms to Color by Eleri Fowler. And if you remember, I did a page from this book last week, and I had a couple of complaints about the black outline ink running a little bit when you used the blender pencil. I'm very happy to report that this book held up a little bit better actually using the Faber-Castell Polychromos. So the page we're going to do today is a great example, just a small little page. It's actually the This Book Belongs To page, but I was just excited to try out the pencils. So this is how it came out, and if you follow me over to my desk, I'll show you how I did it. Here are the Faber-Castell Polychromos colored pencils. This is the set of 60, and they come in this great tin with 2 trays of multicolored colored pencils, and let's see how they do. Let's start on these leaves down here. I've already done a couple up top, and the first color we're going to start with is the Faber-Castell light green, and we're just going to give each leaf a nice base foundation color on this light green. Now we're going to use the emerald green to give it a little bit of darker color here at the base of each leaf, and just go about halfway using nice light pressure. The way these pencils work, you really don't have to press hard, and if you do start to press too hard actually, it kind of burnishes and makes it especially difficult for you to add more color. So now we're going to go in with a darker green. This is the deep cobalt green. We're just going to put a little bit at the base of each. So kind of half light green, half emerald green, and then just like an eighth that deep cobalt. And then you're going to take your blender pencil and you're going to blend darkest to lightest. Just going back and forth there a little bit just to make sure that there's no harsh lines where the colors transition. And do it on all these leaves. Let's move on to these leaves up here, and instead of doing these green, I'm going to move into sort of the more fall colors. And one of the ones that really jumped out at me when I opened the box was this medium flesh color. It's a really pretty delicate pinkish salmon color. And we're just going to do a nice light base of the salmon color. I'm sorry, the medium flesh color. And then we're going to go back in around the edges with Pompeian red. Just real nice light circular motions around the edges, making sure that you're not going too far into the middle there. We want that medium flesh color to really stand out as the highlight down that spine. Now we're going to go back in with a darker color, and I've chosen the red violet. It's a very burgundy brown. And we're gonna go down the edges just like we did with that red color, but just a little bit skinnier. So pretty much just follow that outside line all the way around. And you'll notice that these colors are going on very, very smooth. I've really been happy with the way that these glide onto the paper. And if you'll remember, this is that same book that I reviewed last week where I had a couple of little issues with the blender pencil kind of taking the existing black ink and kind of pushing it where I didn't want it to go. And I've actually found that with these Faber-Castell pencils, I actually don't need to blend as much, so I didn't really see that it was an issue. So I'll definitely be coloring more pages of this book, but probably in the Faber-Castell instead of the Prismacolors. And then take your blender pencil, and again, just so that you're really careful, especially in this book, just push those around a little bit, trying not to get too much of the darker colors into that lighter space in the middle. So onto this Acorn, and we're going to start with our lightest color, this burnt ochre. And again, we're just going to give the entire thing a nice light foundation. And then we're going to go in with the second color, burnt sienna. And I'm just going to make a little bit of a shadow on this edge over here. And up on top, I'm just going to make it a little bit darker because those tops are always darker than the bases. And then I'm going to come in with walnut brown, darker brown, and I'm just going to basically run my pencil along the existing lines to just darken those little texture texture lines on top. And then I'm going to take that same brown and just make some lines within that shadow area. We'll go back in with the light burnt ochre. And then I'm going to blend. Again, from darkest to lightest. And I'm going to blend real lightly up on that top part because I don't want to blend that too much and lose the texture of those lines. All right, let's take that same Pompeian red color that we used earlier on the leaves and do these flowers. When you're choosing colors for your pages, you might want to consider sort of a color family. So you don't want to use too many colors or it just looks a little bit crazy, but you also don't want to use too few that you don't have a lot of varied color and texture. But it does make sense to kind of repeat similar colors throughout and use them where you think it makes sense. I just encourage you to kind of experiment there. So we're going to put a nice light foundation. I always start with that. Just a nice light foundation because these pencils in particular, they layer really nicely. And now we're going to use that same red-violet color that we used on the leaves to go around the edges. All right, so you see I did some yellow there. I really wanted to give all of the colors a try because I was so excited to see how they all looked. So now I'm going to dig into the blues, and this blue in particular is the Phthalo blue, and I'm just going to do a nice light base, and then I'm going to go back in with, let's see which one, it was actually the Prussian blue, and I'm just going to make some lines from the center of those flowers out to the petals just to give it a little bit of texture. And I'm not going to blend these. So these are small. So if you do some line work within the petals there, just gives it a little bit of interest when there's not a lot of surface area to color. And you'll see that all of the colors that I've chosen really kind of work well together. They're sort of in that same color family, like I was saying, in terms of tone. And they all just look nice as a group. So just like I said before, you don't want to use one color in just one spot. You kind of want to spread it out a little bit. So I'm going to use those same blues on this butterfly here in the middle, just to spread the blue from one spot in the circle all the way around. And I'm going to take that same lightest blue and just do it in a fanning motion out in the center of his wings. And then with that same darker blue, kind of complete that wing area there. And here I'm not doing too much overlap. And you'll notice I did not start with a complete base because I really wanted this blue to be very pure and not have that layered effect. So same thing, I'm going to go up into those top wing tips and down just a little bit into the bottom, but I'm leaving white space. And then I'm actually going to take this sort of mulberry color and do the tops and the bottoms of the wingtips, just to, again, carry some of the same colors from around the page here into the butterfly. And then just real lightly blend them together just to get rid of any harsh transitions. And back to the yellow. Once again, I don't have any yellow here at the top, so kind of spreading the yellow down on the sides and then up at the top. Just kind of give it a nice overall balance. And I'm using actually 3 or 4 different yellows here. So there's that real light base yellow in the middle, and then a nice sunshiny yellow for the rest of the petals. And then a darker ochre color, just going around each petal. Again, just barely coming into the middle there, but just giving it a nice little outline. And then that same color in the middle, fanning out from the center. And then I'm going to take that same red-violet color that we used on the leaves, and it's very purple, so we're going to go kind of opposite the color wheel from the yellow, and we're going to do a real thin outline on the edges. And since this is the This Book Belongs To page, you gotta put your name in there, right? So I'm gonna use that red violet color, and in my horrible handwriting, I'm gonna write PencilStash. So I'm doing one layer with that, and then I'm gonna come in with a darker blue and just go over certain areas there to give it a little bit more dimension. That's it for me today. I hope you've enjoyed today's demonstration on adult coloring books and pencils. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. You'll get an email every time I've uploaded new content. And if you have any questions, if you throw them in the comments section, I promise I will answer every single one. And don't forget to check me out on PencilStash.com, Instagram, and Facebook. Thanks so much for watching. Keep coloring. Bye.